Hello everyone, this is Brandon with Doing USA. We're in the shop again today, getting ready to go do some jug lining and catfishing tomorrow with a buddy of mine. And we're going to show you how we make up some bait. This is not our primary bait source, but if we can't catch shad or some small bait fish when we're out throwing our cast net, we always have this to back us up. So I want to show you today, take you along for the ride, give you an example of how we make up some extra bait, put it in the fridge the night before, and we use it to bait our jug lines. Okay, so to make up our bait that we're going to use for catfishing, we're going to need a few things. Don't tell your wife, but you're going to need a blender. On the table here, of course, you're going to definitely want to use some rubber gloves when we do this. I got some dog food. I've got some cherry Kool-Aid drink mix. I've got a funnel that we'll need. I've got a container to put our packaged bait into so that we can set it in the fridge. It'll be ready in the morning. I've got some of these little tube finger bandages that are made for someone who cuts a finger and holds a bandage on their finger. They're not really very big. You can get these in different sizes. I'll put one on my finger and show you. They're about the size, they're about 2 inches by 1 inch, which they're about the perfect size for bait. Okay, for catfish, for carp, anything that you want to use. These are excellent, and they'll keep the bait on your hook for a long time, and they are cloth, so they will actually allow the scent of the bait to get into the water. But we've got several of these. I do recommend, if you were going to buy some of these, buy some that are just a little bit bigger than 2 by 1 inch. But these aren't bad size. If you need a larger bait, just put 2 or 3 of them on your hook. But anyway, we've got about 100 of those sitting here. We're going to make up some bait because we're going to need about 40 for our jug lines, and we're going to need several for just our rods and reels if we don't catch any shad. I also have, like I said, I have dog food. I have some chicken broth that we save. Also, we have some old shad that last time I went, I caught and we froze. So they're out here in the sun and they're thawing. So I've got some old shad. You can see the shad there. And this is the reason for gloves. And we're going to use these after they're frozen and not dried. They sure do fall apart, so they're hard to keep on line. This one here is just one shad in that bag. He's a pretty big one. And we're going to use these, and we're going to make some bait. Let those sit for just a few more minutes before we use them in the blender. Also, another thing that you might need, you're taking your life in your own hands if you take this out of your wife's kitchen. But these things are excellent for stuffing your finger bandage, but you better clean them up really good before she realizes that you used it. Same thing with the blender, guys. Okay, today I am going to do the same thing as that, but I'm going to use a caulking gun. Alright, so we're going to walk you through how we do that. Alright, in order to prep my caulking gun, the very first thing that we're going to do is we're going to squeeze all of the caulk out of our caulking gun. All the way, just squeeze it all out, cut it off square. Once you have all the stuff out of the caulking gun, take your caulking tube out of your gun. Alright, because we're going to use this. We're going to use this instead of one of these to do the same thing, and then we can just throw this away once we're finished. They are sure a pain to clean. So you're looking down in the tube and you're thinking, well, how do I use that? So take a metal rod and punch. Take a metal rod, punch the plunger out. Okay, all you're going to do is punch that plunger out. You'll end up with a part that goes in. Now you can see all the way through. You'll end up with the bottom that you will reuse to squeeze our material down through our caulking tube. And once you get this thing out, take you paper towel, wipe off all the excess caulk so that you can have a clean plunger, okay? Now, we're almost ready to start. We're gonna lay our plunger aside. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a stick, and if there's any caulk in here, if there's any caulk left in here, take a stick and scrape it out. Little caulk isn't gonna hurt. Catfish won't care. Take a piece of blue tape. Seal up the end with that piece of blue tape. Seal up the end, fold it over, and just wrap it. You're going to pull it off here in a little while, but right now we're going to wrap it and seal up the end, okay? Now, our caulking gun is just about ready to go. We got to go outside, put our gloves on, go outside, and we got to get our shad. What we are about to do, guys, I highly suggest you don't do it in your wife's kitchen. Find a spot out in the shop, put something plastic down, and make sure you wear rubber gloves, because you're going to have to spend the night in the house. And so what we're about to do is really going to help you catch more catfish. Okay, first thing we're looking at, the very first thing we're going to do is we've got some old shad. Okay, now these right here have been sitting in the freezer for at least 6 months. When they sit that long, they aren't going to be, you can't hardly put them on the hook because they just want to fall apart. So what we're going to do is we're going to use these as a base for our bait. So I've got an old bowl here. I'm going to open them, take my shad, I'm going to dump them right in my, that stinks, right in my blender. If you've got the juice with them, you want it all in there. Dump them in there, every one of them. Do not forget to throw these bags away and don't leave them in your shop or you'll regret it. Put our juice in there. We've got juice, we've got ice, we've got all these bags, and I'm just gonna put these outside right now. Okay, so I'm back. The shad stink worse. The bag, I think, stunk worse than the shad themselves. So what we're going to do is we're going to make sure you hold the lid down on your blender. Start on low, and we're going to chop. Right now they're too frozen, so what we're going to do, we'll go get a little stick and we're going to poke them down to where they engage the blades. Take my little stick, poke them down to where they engage the blades. Okay. Now they may seem awful dry. It may not, you can try it. You may have to add a little chicken broth to it, but you don't want it too soupy, okay? Alright, got to put some fluid in it, some liquid in it. Take my stick, knock a hole out of in the grease, the chicken broth. Let's put a little bit of juice in it. Not a lot. Okay, we have a pretty good soupy mix right there. I'll show it to you. It's pretty soupy. That's a little too soupy for what we want. So now, we're going to add some dog food. You don't have to add a whole lot, but you're going to want to thicken this up considerably. I'm going to check it. And it's still pretty thick, but it's sticking to my stick. You want it to where it'll hold on to your stick, because you are going to want to use that, and you want to make sure that when you hold it onto your stick, that it'll stay on your hook. Okay. maybe just a little bit more dog food. The dog food is just filler. A lot of people will use dog food just for catfish bait itself, but the dog food is great filler because it's protein, or it's 20% protein, this one is. And so I'm gonna stick them down in there. Okay, it's gotta be ground up. You don't want that, you don't want the dog food to be chunky because it won't go through the tube in your caulk tube. Okay, we've got a good thick consistency. I think we've got most of the dog food taken care of. Now we're going to load our tube, our caulking tube. Now this is what you want just an old funnel for, something to put your tube in. This is just an old 2-liter pop bottle that I've got in the shop that I use for all kinds of stuff. Take it, first things first, let's take, first thing you do, leave your lid on your 2-liter bottle, and you're going to take and you're just going to dump this right in your 2-liter bottle. You may literally have to take your stick and rake it out. And that's okay, because remember, we're going to run it through a caulking gun. It's about the consistency of mud. All right. Now we're going to transfer it into our caulk tube, all right? Caulking tube. Take this lid off, be ready. Take and squeeze it right into your caulking tube. We're going to fill our tube up. That's all we're doing, filling our tube up, filling our tube up. Okay, we've got a tube full. Put the lid back on it. This right here can be used again. Just pop it out with your stick. All right, we'll use that again. Put the lid back on it. It'll stay right over there by itself. And now we've got our caulking gun. All right, the little plunger that we took out, we're gonna slide it down into our caulk tube, just like it was originally made for it. All right, we're gonna put it in our caulk gun, and we're gonna take off the tape. You can see it'll start coming out if there's any pressure on it. So now, put the lid back on that thing, get it out to where my shirt tail doesn't get in it. I'm gonna take my finger bandages, put them over my, put them right over the end of my caulking gun. And once I get them there, I'm just gonna, they're full. Take and I'm gonna put them right in the bucket. That stuff may fall out, won't hurt none. Put the next one over the end. I'm gonna fill this one full, same thing. Fill it full. Pull the pressure off your thing and stick it in your bucket. You're gonna fill every one of these with your solution, your shad and dog food solution. Okay? We're gonna keep filling them. And guys, if you have a problem with your caulk tube, I'm not out by any means, but if you have a problem with it, take you something like a pencil. Just, there's a piece of dog food stuck right there in the end. Take you like a screw or something. Just knock that out and it ought to start coming right out. Put it back in your gun. Put it right back in your bandage. Put it in the tube. And you can fill it right up. Stick that one in, get you another one. Stick that one in. Get you another one. And just continue the process over and over and over. Doesn't take a whole lot. You're just making, basically what you're doing is you're making your own stink bait, but you're putting it in a tube to where it's easy to handle. Now to thicken this up, you don't have to use dog food. If you don't have dog food, I've got some sawdust. Sawdust will work. Anything that you want to use that'll help you thicken up your paste so that when you do go fishing, it'll just ooze the scent into the water. Okay, I'm at the bottom. So what I'm going to do, take out my tube. I'm going to take my metal rod. I'm going to run it down and I'm going to eject my plunger. And there's my plunger. Alright, lay that over there to the side. Here's my plunger, and I'll use it again here in a few minutes. Alright, so now we're going to make some more. But as you can see, I've quickly made up about 15-20 baits. But I'm going to make this thing, I'm just going to continue to fill it, okay? And now I'm going to repeat the process. More shad. Like I said, these are old shad. And I've got a couple that are actually pretty big shad in here. Here's a pretty good size one. I'm not going to use it for chopping up. This is a good one for cut bait. And but I've just thrown them all in a bag so they're all sticking together. I'll put these extra 2 shad back in the bag. Those will be used for cut bait because they're a little bit larger. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do something a little bit different on this batch. I'm still going to use my chicken, but this time what I'm going to do is I'm going to use some cherry Kool-Aid. You can use strawberry, you can use cherry, you can use whatever kind of Kool-Aid you want. This time for the rest of them, I'm going to try some cherry Kool-Aid. I'm going to put some of my dog food in there, and I'm going to put some chicken broth in there, and I'm going to repeat the process. Alright, this time I've got my cherry Kool-Aid mixed in, and I've got a slurry, and I'm going to use it in the same way. Now this time I'm not going to add more dog food because that sort of gave me a problem. It's a little bit runny. So this time I'm going to put a little bit of sawdust in it just to thicken it up. Not a lot, just a little. Make sure there's no big pieces in your sawdust. Alright guys. Here is about the consistency we need. Alright, so now I'm just going to do the same thing as before. I'm going to put it into my funnel, 2-liter bottle. Make sure the lid is on good. This time it's going to have cherry Kool-Aid in it. A lot of people swear by Kool-Aid. And so we've got it in our funnel with the lid on. Okay. We've got our caulking tube done. Should have put a piece of blue tape over it, but that's so thick I don't think it's going to matter. Put our plunger back in. So we've got our cherry soaked shad bait in our caulk gun. We're going to take our caulking gun. We're going to put it back in the gun. We're going to start doing the same thing. We're going to make some more baits. Slide them over. There's one. If extra comes out, just let it fall in your container. There's two. So we'll have bait for tomorrow. That's how you get together 50 baits for jug lining, for drift fishing, for any kind of catfishing you want to do. Remember, you're going to throw this away after you're done. This is why you don't want to have to worry about that other thing. You don't want to clean it up. Like I say, if you need more than one of these on a hook, just put two on there. If you don't think these are big enough. But I guarantee you, with this much scent in the water, it's going to really help you. I just made up 100 baits. Guys, there's 100 baits right there. And those are ready to go fishing tomorrow. I'll go put those in the refrigerator and we will be good to go. Now I'm going to before I take my gloves off, I'm going to take all this stuff and I'm going to discard it. Take it all with me outside. I'll have to come back and get the next group. Okay, now guys, all that's left is the cleanup. So guys, if you'll do this in the shop, clean up your mess. Don't do it in the house because it'll stink the whole house up. What she doesn't know won't hurt her.